Hello, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Real Talk. I hope you're all doing well, keeping safe. And if you're new to the channel, this is a platform for open minded individuals to come together, share their ideas, share their experiences, so that we know we can learn from each other to better ourselves, to better the society in general. So if you're new to the channel, please click on that subscribe button, click on the like button. It helps us get more, to reach out to more people. I don't like asking for people to click on these things, but I have to do it because the YouTube algorithms work in a certain way, and that's how we get on more people. So yeah, I would really, really appreciate it if you click the like button and the subscribe button if you enjoy the content we're presenting. And if you're new to the channel and you want to come on it and share your ideas and experiences, then please do get in touch with us. All our information will be in the description below. So, yeah, just give us a shout. And to our current subscribers, welcome back. I really appreciate the support. And we are back with a new guest. It's my great pleasure in welcoming Andres all the way from Toronto, Canada. How are you doing, bro? And welcome to the Real Talk.
Hi, man. Thanks. Yeah, thanks for the opportunity to talk. Like the name of the channel, the Real Talk. Yep. So my name is Andres. I'm from Venezuela originally, but I live now in Canada. So and yep. So the reason I contacted you is because it's the all the talk going on about mental health,
Yeah.
and so I basically am an autistic person. So it's in the past people used to say Asperger, but now it's pretty much on ASD, autism, and also I have ADHD. So I think
Okay.
it's good to chat a little bit about it.
Yeah, no, that's great. And thank you so much. This is exactly why we're here. We want to reach out to people to come on. And I know it takes a lot for people to come out and share what they're going through, what they've gone through, their experiences. So it takes great courage. And I really, really appreciate you coming on. And now you mentioned, and this is what we want to focus on, you mentioned that you have ADHD and autism. So a lot of people out there might have an idea of what it is, but I don't think, like, including myself, before we had a chat a few weeks ago, so I got more knowledge on it. But I'm sure there's people out there who don't know exactly what these things are or what they mean. So if you can just explain what ADHD means, what autism is, then just to broaden the knowledge of people.
Yeah, of course. So basically, I want also to open with it's good to sometimes go back to science and always just refer to facts. And just recently, I was reading about mental health, and then if
Yeah.
we go to the WHO, the health organization, so if you go to their website and if you just do a search for the definition of mental health, and I found so interesting that science, doctors define mental health as the state of an individual being able to perform to the best of its abilities.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And giving something to society. So that's
Yeah.
actually it's the social aspect as well. So
Mhm.
I found that even though what I'm going to describe makes me different, so I think the fact that I can say I or the possibility of me saying I am in a good mental health state, actually it's a society effort. So
Yeah.
basically it's just accepting everyone, okay, with our differences that some of them cannot be seen,
Yeah.
okay, or perceive, and then let people perform to the best of its abilities.
Of
So
course, that's
that's
a great point. Yeah.
yeah, so it's not like not being depressed. It's no. So there's some conditions that people are just like that, okay, and then you put a label and
Yeah.
just to be careful. But yeah, so ADHD, it's what I'm going to describe. I'm pretty sure everyone has said or has thought, oh, I somehow I'm like that, or somehow I experience those
Yeah.
symptoms.
like we
Okay,
discussed off air, like we
exactly.
thought maybe I have a little bit, but yeah, go on.
Yeah. So uh, it's basically hyperactivity is the fact that your brain never stops. And when I say never stops, it's just not like sometimes people can say, I'm just gonna do mindfulness and then I'm just gonna make my brain to rest
Yeah.
for a couple of hours. People with ADHD, this is the hardest thing because
Mm.
it's a disorder. That's how science calls it. That actually makes your brain to always be hyperactive. Okay,
Okay.
so the part that says deficit attention disorder, so hyperactivity deficit attention disorder,
Yeah.
and it's is the fact that you cannot focus on certain stuff because you are always distracted. Okay, so
Right.
you are always drifting from tasks.
Yeah.
Okay, so you cannot be basically uh, just doing one thing for a
Yeah.
long time like regular people.
Right. And then what's the difference between that and autism then?
So so basically autism is just the way your brain is wired. Okay,
Okay.
so autism is characterized for difficulties with social engagement or social interaction, and
Right.
it is our level of understanding. Okay, so we
Okay.
understand things in a very basic level and very like literal.
Yeah.
Okay, so meaning that we interpret our everything like, so say emotions for us
Right.
could go from 1 to 10. Okay, usually like a neurotypical. That's, let's refer to neurotypical to people that have an average wiring, like a
Mm-hmm.
brain wiring. So neurotypicals tend to go like from 1 to 10, and they take some time. So they go 1, 2, and they go escalating. Some people go faster. Some people gonna skip steps.
Right.
You get to the maximum escalation of your anger or happiness. Uh, Autistic people, okay, so usually cannot hold on emotions for so long, and then it can escalate so long, so fast
Yeah.
to the maximum of feelings. And it's not like how we perceive, is how we feel it.
Right.
Okay, as well. So then you start feeling in your body like things that for you could, for a neurotypical person could be just small emotion, small happiness, or but for us could be, oh, okay, this is actually triggering my body to be sensory overload, for example.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
and then it's about interpretation of the outside. Okay,
Right.
very much.
So thank you for that. That's really good. At least now we kind of understand what the two are. So do they go hand in hand, or is it possible for some people to just be having just ADHD and not autism, and the other way around? So, like, I know you have both. So is it possible that someone's only, has ADHD but not autism?
Yes, it's actually very common. So usually what happens is, in my case, for example, I was kind of like a flagged at school.
Right.
Okay, because people with ADHD, they tend to be the troublemakers. Okay, because we both like both conditions, ADHD and autism, they characterize for difficulties in social skills.
Right.
Okay, whereas autism is the fact that you don't understand them. ADHD is the fact that you are very impulsive. Okay, so
Okay.
then you
Okay.
cannot control what you say because
Yeah.
everything just happens so fast in your brain. So you tend then just to lose friends or to say things to your peers at school, or maybe to
Right.
do some actions that are not according to the situation that you have. So
Hmm.
that you are in.
Yeah.
So basically at school, usually people are flagged by they are the troublemakers. Okay. So they start just doing some assessment for ADHD. Okay. Then when the ADHD is controlled, there's therapy, there is also medication.
Right.
So then the self, like the person, start, starts understanding a little bit more about the world, basically about society.
Okay.
And if the behavior is not improved in a sense that that person is actually doing better in society. So it could be that there is more than that. Okay,
Right.
so then that's how ADHD can escalate to autism. Okay, and I'm
Okay.
talking about people like me that they look just normal. Okay, because there is some other autistic disorders, autism disorders
Yeah.
that actually are that require support. Okay,
Right.
so that can
Right.
be diagnosed. I'm talking about
Yeah.
people that actually squeeze into society like they're normal, but literally they are so different inside.
But that's actually it's a good segue into my next question, because like you said, like by just looking at you and having like a short conversation, no one will be able to pick this up. But now that as a kid, or as now you're working in an environment with all kinds of people, what challenges have you faced? And this is why we want to share those experiences, because you're living in a society with normal, I would call them normal
Yeah,
people. Yeah. And you're struggling with these things because the society doesn't understand these concepts and how to accept people like that into it, right? So what challenges did you have as growing up? Like you said, troublemaker. So I'm
yeah.
sure you had a few incidences or something, but like what were the main challenges you faced growing up or living in a society where people haven't yet completely understood these concepts and how to accept them into the society?
Yeah, so that's we use a very like a good survival skill. We call it masking. Okay,
Okay.
and we basically usually people with ADHD and autism, they are very like they're good at masking, and basically it's just pretend and copy people. That's what you do.
Okay.
It's basically you start watching how people react in certain situations, and
Okay.
then you basically copy them. Okay, so when I was a kid, I didn't have that skill. You're pretty much you don't know what to
Yeah.
do, and then you start just being the troublemaker because you don't know exactly how to behave, how to control your brain, how to control your thoughts, how to be just focused on one task.
Yeah.
So I was actually definitely I was expelled from school a few times, and that is basically the first challenge I had. Okay, as
Right.
with ADHD.
Yeah.
Plus, I was autistic as well, so meaning that while kids were doing or playing about their stuff, I wouldn't understand what they were doing. Maybe my interests and actually my interests were so different, but I would force myself, okay, to do
Yeah.
what they do for
Just to fit
acceptation,
in, right? Just to
just to
fit
fit
in.
in exactly. And
Yeah.
then you can just go on my Facebook. You can go literally from since I was 17 all the way. Like my look has changed so many times because
Right.
you start adapting depending the situation you are living in.
Okay. That
Okay,
no, yeah.
so that's the
That
part was a kid. Yeah.
right.
Then when you grew up, so then you start as an autistic person, you are more aware about all the sensory things. Pretty much everything that outside can actually just make it feel comfortable, like
Yeah.
noises, could be lights. Then you have to mask that at work. Pretty much,
Okay.
you cannot just pretend that everything.
So sorry to stop you there, just to
Yeah,
get more understanding. When you say noises and lights, so am I understanding it correctly? Because I know you mentioned that you can get easily distracted. So all these things around you, it's all heightened, right? It's like you
yeah,
focus on every single thing. So that small sound, or there's a light coming from the corner, which maybe I
correct.
wouldn't be able to pick it up, but you will. And then is that a challenge for you to actually, like, let's say you're doing one thing and you can hear this water dropping on the tap in another room, and that kind
Yeah,
of loses your focus. Am I correct in that
that's pretty
assumption?
much what happens. Yeah, with
Okay.
and that happens with both, like autism disorders and ADHD. But what happens with the ADHD is, as I said, is it's maximized. It just
Right.
goes to the highest point of reactions. Okay, so yes, but then you can also not everything is that bad.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
because as I can see, as you just said, is we get distracted for very tiny things. Okay, and then the sensory overload happen on the autistic side
Okay.
because then I kind of, for example, stand bright light. Okay, so if I'm actually focused on one task,
Mm.
I'm okay. Okay. But if I get distracted, then the light automatically triggers me my sensory overload, for
Right.
example. So in that sense, I need to, for example, need to start taking breaks a little bit when I feel that, oh, okay, I'm actually just getting overwhelmed,
Yeah.
and you have to take a break, maybe go for a walk, 10 minutes break, just calm down ourselves. We have some techniques. It's publicly known as stimming. Okay.
Okay.
And then you fidget a little bit, you stim a little bit, that calms down your body, which is pretty much the reaction. Okay,
Okay.
that actually makes you stay away from what were you doing. Okay, so you just
Right.
need to calm your body, and then you're back on track.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that, and it's great for our listeners and viewers out there. So now that hopefully we've like the viewers out there have understood like the challenges you're facing and what ADHD and autism means. What advice can you give people who are living with autism and ADHD? Because I'm sure there's people out there that they might not even know that they might be have like they probably think there's something different about them, but maybe they're not diagnosed yet, or maybe they are diagnosed but they don't know how to like live or just be in a normal society. So like you've been doing it and you're doing really well in your career and everything. What advice would can you give people from what you've experienced to live with ADHD and autism? Because I know, like you said, it can be very challenging.
Yeah, it's very challenging, and so I would say that there is three advice that I would give, or four. So the first one is, just never pay attention to the stigma out there in society. Like, if you are different, if you feel that you are different, okay, um, it's there is nothing wrong to start questioning yourself. Okay, so that's the first thing, because usually we're very hard on ourselves. Okay, and then just
Definitely.
because of that, you don't seek for help. Okay. Also, nowadays, getting help, or at least getting an idea about how different you are, is just literally YouTube. There's
It's
forums,
so
there's a
easy
lot of
nowadays.
people. It's so
Yeah.
easy nowadays. Okay, it's so easy for doctors, because now sometimes you get with an idea of, look, my symptoms, they align with this condition, they align,
Okay.
oh, with this condition. So
Yeah.
it kind of helps narrow down for the doctors. Okay, so break that stigma first. Like, start just watching videos and then reading. Okay. People with ADHD usually get misdiagnosed a lot. Okay,
Okay.
so it can start from bipolar disorder to
Right.
depression, all the way to ADHD, and that journey could be very, very,
Tough.
very late,
Yeah.
tough, if you don't know exactly what's happening with yourself.
Right. Yeah.
So if you start just watching videos and then seeing experiences, then you have an idea, and then you don't go through that process, which is long process to get diagnosed with ADHD.
Yeah.
That's the second part is, if you are married or have a partner, or of your friends, it's good that you be clear with them as well. Okay, you say, hey guys, I think there is something happening, or to your partner, something happening in my head, and something that it doesn't make me feel right. And then empathy from people is out there, but they don't
And
understand if you don't
no,
tell them.
great point. Great
Okay,
point.
so
So just to ask you on that, like you said, is it easy to explain to someone who doesn't quite get it? Like, did you ever face that challenge when, like, you were reaching out to your loved ones? Was there ever a time where you thought maybe, I know that there's these things happening, but I don't know if people would understand.
yeah,
Was there ever a challenge with that?
it's I'm gonna give you a quick example. Okay, and
Sure.
then that would be it was a big argument back then when I was married before. And coffee. Okay, so the coffee is usually in the cupboard, usually
Yeah.
there. Okay, but because I'm very distracted, I keep moving it. Okay, so it's very hard to explain to your partner that I don't remember where I put the thing 5 minutes ago.
Mhm.
Okay, because that's another symptom of the ADHD. We don't have short-term memory at all
Okay.
whatsoever.
Right.
Okay. So things that we do, if we are not interested, it doesn't just get saved in our brain.
Yeah.
It doesn't get stored. So
Okay.
then those arguments, like people don't believe you.
They
Sometimes
think you
people
might be
say,
lying.
maybe
Yeah.
lying, or you are just too stubborn, or you want just the know it all
Right.
kind of people, that because you end up fighting about
Yeah.
your
Of
point
course.
because it's the
Yeah.
only thing that it's in your brain. Okay. But both are right, both parties are right. Okay.
Right.
So you don't know where the coffee is. Okay. But he doesn't know where the coffee is because he's different.
Right.
And that's a quick example. It's just getting people to understand how different we are and
Yeah.
accept, no, I would say our symptoms, but it's not really our symptoms. It's the way
You
we
are.
just
That's who you
action.
are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's great. Any other advice you can give people out there?
Yeah. At work, like people with ADHD and autism, so both we have, and I would say a superpower, and at it, we pay attention to details, to the things that actually interest us a lot.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So use your differences on your advantage. Okay.
Mm.
So that's why you see a lot of people with ADHD or with autism doing IT work, programming, QA, because
Right.
we are good at basically noticing small things. Okay. Usually patterns. We love
Right.
patterns. We love
Okay.
routines. Okay. If you break my day-to-day routine, it just literally it damages completely my entire
Okay.
day.
So
Okay.
routine is
So
extremely important.
it's extremely important. So that's the other advice. So just
Okay.
people that this is more for people that they know that they have ADHD or
Right.
autism, and they
Yeah.
know this already. Just try to stick with the routine. Okay, try to basically have everything under control, because that's how our brain perceives it. But we don't have
Right.
anything under control. That's the
Yeah.
reality.
Yeah.
But you need to pretend for our brain, so then we can actually just have a good day.
No, that's some great points, and I hope whoever out there might be having these symptoms, or they know they have that. I hope they can take your advice and implement them in their lives. Now, moving on, like you mentioned, in school you were troublemakers, and I when I think back to my time when I was a kid, and you find always in a classroom full of students there's a few different people, and when you're a kid it's always you label them as weird and they're not
Yeah,
doing well in school, so you kind of cast them aside. I know, like, as kids it's, you haven't learned or experienced enough in life to understand what they're going through, but as adults I think it's your responsibility to teach your kids and to also understand yourself that people are different because there's a reason to it. They don't want to be like that. It's how they are, and to use that as an advantage to the society. We're all
right.
different, and that's diversity is key, and it's really really important. So what advice can you give, like, I would say normal people, just
Mhm.
in a
Yeah.
society, to deal with people struggling or with autism and ADHD, and the struggles they have, like yourself you faced in integrating with normal day life and activities. So what advice can you give the rest of us, to
Yeah.
to so that we don't
It's a
have
good
these
question.
issues in society?
Correct. Yeah. So the main thing is people. I'm going to talk about neurotypicals. Like every person that is different.
Right.
We have our own ways to do our stuff. Okay. So sometimes they might sound, or they might seem a little bit weird or not as efficient, but we already develop our own ways to do our stuff. So I would say it just give us our own space sometimes, because
Okay.
when you are aware that this person is different, and there is the extra effort to try to help in things that you think that person is struggling.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's usually give the people some time, read those people a little bit, okay, before offering help.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah,
um,
sure. Of course. that's
so
that's a good
that's
point.
one thing. Second thing is I would say it's knowing that when someone is overwhelmed, it's very pretty much we exteriorize it a lot. Okay,
Yeah.
so sometimes as I said, sometimes emotions go from 1 to 10, and then when someone with that is different start just yelling, or or maybe saying things that could be harmful, it's good to make that consideration for yourselves. Okay, this person is having a burnout, a meltdown, it's just
Yeah.
overloaded. So it's good just to ground the person, never engage with that person on a discussion. Okay,
Right.
because
Okay.
two different languages.
Oh, great point. Yeah.
Neurotypicals, they have a broad, I would say, a wider language. Okay,
Yeah.
so people like us, we have a very basic language. So I'm pretty sure in a discussion, both are right. The problem is understanding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
So
Yeah. It's
it's be
it comes down
patient.
to the empathy, right? If you're empathetic, you can see from different points of views and perspectives. So, like, and you mentioned it, so it's really, really important to have that. Yeah. Sorry. Continue. Anything else you want to
Yeah, it's yeah,
share?
basically just giving the opportunity to people that are different. If they messed up one time, okay, so be aware that they that, or we have problem regulating our emotions, okay, and the fact that sometimes, and I understand there are sometimes that second opportunities are not possible, and
Yeah.
that's a fact. But sometimes, like, give them a second chance as your friend. Maybe, well, I'm not talking about partnerships because that's a completely different,
Yeah. Yeah.
topic. Talking
No,
about
of
if your
course.
friends, your coworkers, that person is different. Just try to understand him, because
Yeah.
that way he will feel understood, and then he can perform to the best of its abilities.
Of
So
course.
that's
Yeah.
that's one thing.
No, that's great. Thank you so much, Andres. Really appreciate it. And you know what? I think I'm just going to put out the educate. Let's educate ourselves. Let's read up
Yeah.
on, like you said, watch videos. You shared with us quite a few YouTube videos. They were brilliant. They were funny with education, and I love that stuff. So
Yeah, I'm
and
gonna
I
actually
might
just
actually
stop
put
interrupt.
them in the link. I'll put the
Yeah.
videos in the video description. So please check them out. They're really funny and they're educational, so basically adds to what we've already discussed. Sorry, did you want to add something?
I was saying that there's a lot of people like me, on like, there are neurotypical, neurodivergent,
Right.
people that are different, that are very successful. And then we have like a go on YouTube, go on Google, and then just Google autistic comedians, and then
Yeah.
there is one very that I recommend a lot is Hannah Gatsby.
Okay.
Um, uh, so she has a great special on Netflix, and the last show
No, I
is
watched that one.
about
Yeah.
how she as an autistic person actually faces society. Okay, and there's a little bit of education through jokes and
Yeah, no, that's great. I love that video.
comedy.
I think you shared it and I watched it. It was brilliant. So yeah, please check that out. Communicate with each other. That's very important as well. Um, Andres, thank you so much for sharing your experience and shedding some more light and knowledge on things that we as a society or we kind of ignore, and we don't really pay much attention to it. But people like yourself that come out and share these experiences is wonderful to see. And hopefully there'll be more people that will be encouraged by this and come out and share their experiences. It's like a chain, and we want to create the
Yeah,
real talk with real people sharing their real life experiences. This is all what this is about, nothing else. We want to broaden the education level through experiences, and the best way I think you learn is from either your own experiences or from other people's experiences, if you
that's
have the
correct.
capacity to understand where they're coming from. And I hope, and I can see there is hope, as a society we are moving more towards that idea of being able to understand everyone's perspective. And that's why mental health has been such a big subject now, which is great to see. So thank you, Andres. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing your experience. And I hope that people out there have learned a thing or two.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
thank you for inviting me, and I hope like you guys keep inviting more people to share their own experiences.
No,
I
of
love
course.
that idea. Other than just keep reading science and then articles, it's
No.
good to listen to others.
Yeah. No, it's great, and we will, and hopefully, we get more people like yourself on. And of course, you're welcome back anytime on this show. That's I say that to all my
Cool.
guests, because you might think later on, oh, I should have said something, or you want to share something more. You're always welcome back. So thank you, and to thank you to all the people who stay tuned and have watched this. I hope you like the video, and you like what we're trying to present and trying to share with society. So thank you so much. Please take care, everyone. Share, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video. It's important for us in order to reach more people. So thank you again. Take care, everyone. Be safe, and we'll be back very soon. Bye bye.